All right, we'll call this meeting to order. 11 o'clock, Thursday, March 14th, 2024. Here for a discussion on House Bill 1258 and how that might impact the county, etc. So we asked the prosecutor to be here to help us with this discussion. I would start off by turning to the prosecutor and saying, can you help us understand this bill?
Yeah, I'll do my best. So the bill's currently in the Senate. In the Senate, it got passed after the third reading, and then it got referred out to the Transportation and Defense Committee. The bill was brought to my attention through an outside referral from Owyhee County, who is essentially asking other counties to consider jumping on board in their opposition of the bill. The Board of County Commissioners in Owyhee County have determined that their county consists largely of remote lands, and as such they have a larger than normal number of road validations and or vacations that come through their jurisdiction. I think Shoshone County is probably in a similar boat. Per capita, we certainly see many more of these than other jurisdictions do. The proposed bill essentially requires there to be additional evidence received and provided when a public right-of-way accesses public lands. And then it puts a number of restrictions on the ability of a BOCC to exercise their discretion or authority in the vacation process. When we look at it from that perspective, I think that we see the interest of some counties in saying we want to have a broader amount of discretion in identifying how we're going to navigate these without having the legislature essentially put us into a smaller box regarding what our options are. As such, I have forwarded to the BOCC the letter that I had received from Owyhee County, which highlights some of their concerns. And then I just received this morning a AG analysis on it, and then a draft proposed response from Owyhee County to that AG analysis. And from here, it's really in your shoes. I think Owyhee County is reaching out to see if there are other counties that want to write either their own opposition or a letter of support to the position that they've taken already, and forward that on to the state legislature. Looking at this from your role as county commissioners, I think that although you don't have a actual seat at the table when it comes to state legislation, I think you're in a much better position than perhaps laypersons, being a county elected official, to voice a concern or to share a position that might have more merit to it to certain state legislators. And so I think that's really the reason for reaching out to other counties and asking other BOCCs if they would be willing to take a position on it and voice that position to the individuals at the state level who are going to ultimately decide this legislation. Obviously, I think, given the new information that was just received, it's probably prudent for you as a BOCC to go through, review it all, and then, if you guys want to put it back on your agenda and make a decision, decide if you want to have a voice in this or not. I think that it's really entirely in your discretion, but since I was put on notice of it and the request really involves action by you, not me,
do we have time?
I'll bring it to your attention. You have time in that I would want, as your legal counsel, you guys to have time to parse it out. I think Owyhee County would probably say the clock's ticking, the legislature's in session, and this thing can move forward any day.
I did listen to Mr. Hernan speak on this.
Okay.
For some reason, it was a couple months or a month back, and basically they were talking about how if we vacate a right-of-way that goes to public lands, we'd in turn have to have another access to that public land? Is that the same one where?
It's his argument.
That's his argument. So I would like to have time to review that. I was kind of maybe, and have some time with you over that.
Yeah, you bet.
What, well, I know they're having problems with, I read part of their letter where Hawaii County has to go through the, what do they call that when they, when you go through the federal government, you've got to do the
the RS-2477 process. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's part of their concern that they raised in their letter. And
Can I ask is this your comments or?
no, those are the most recent draft comments from Hawaii.
That's Hawaii's.
They haven't submitted those yet, so understand that that's not in a form that's been received by the state, to my understanding. I think that's just them trying to share with you all, so you have more information, what their concerns with the AG's analysis is. With the understanding that I think they're actively working on a formal response.
Okay.
And Hawaii County, one of those counties that has brought in a private firm to do a lot of their civil representation. So
Okay.
my communications with the elected prosecutor there have been fairly limited. Most of this information was all received from the outside civil firm that's representing them on this. But I do have a good working relationship with the elected prosecutor down there, and
Okay.
I have reached out to him and identified what he can share with me too. So.
Okay. Well, what I was trying to get at is the quiet title actions. Where they were talking about having to go through quiet title actions to get public right of ways. I don't understand. So I'll have to talk to you about that.
Sure.
That's what stumped me.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And if you all have any, after reading through it, if you've got an additional question personally that you'd like, Hawaii County's take on it, in other words, how are you reaching this conclusion?
Yeah.
And you want to be as educated as you can if you're going to take a formal position on it.
Okay.
It may or may not benefit the county for you guys to do that, right? That's up to you guys to decide.
Okay.
But this legislation is out there. I think it's got a lot of steam behind it, because certainly anytime we're dealing with public lands, that's a hot button topic, and rightfully so. I think that the citizens of our state are very concerned in preserving the right to public access, and I think what you're seeing Hawaii County stepping into is say, yeah, but at what expense? And is this actually going to cost taxpayers more dollars by limiting our options when it comes to vacation and abandonment proceedings? So
and doing it the right way.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't read Hawaii County's response as being averse to public land access. I don't think that's their points at all. I think their points primarily hinge on what options are available to the county, and is this going to actually put the county government in a box, because a lot of these private interest groups, their primary concern is access to public lands. It's not what is the county's budget and what does this look like for a VOCC that has to undertake these proceedings, and the options that are or aren't available to them.
So they're looking at it more as a liability, possibly.
I think so. I mean, as I read Hawaii County's opinion, saying depending on how you slice this pie and how this is presented, we're kind of robbed of our ability to have options at our disposal. So
I kind of get that now.
Okay, and I need to read all of this and get caught up on it. Do we have any public comment or question today?
Yeah, I'm trying to dummy this up a little bit. I don't have it in front of me. So code now is you can't vacate a road that gives access to federal land, right, public land.
There's an argument for that. I don't know that it's well defined in code in those terms. It's certainly a consideration that's undertaken.
And this one is if you do vacate a road, then you have to make a road, then you have to give them access someplace else, which falls on the county to give the access. without using eminent domain or condemning anything. So that's it in a nutshell, right?
I think that's probably a fair summary. Yeah.
So you could actually put it off on the petitioner to that's asking to vacate the road to actually come up with another means to get to public lands and put the financial burden on them. I mean, I'm just throwing it out there. And that would be one way to keep the county out of having to pay money to get access. It would be up to the petitioner to do that. But that's my 2 cents.
Okay. Anything else, Commissioner?
No, I just need to read into it more. I just kind of browsed it.
Sounds like we don't have, the clock is ticking, as
Yeah.
the prosecutor said, so.
Can we do it next week?
Yeah, we could do something next week, because tomorrow's sort of busy, and
Yeah.
some of us go home every night and act like we're the prosecutor. We read through all this material. Yeah. I quit at 9 last night, and I felt guilty because I figured you went till 10 or so. But thank you for your help with this today.
Yeah.
Sure, you bet. Just wanted to bring it to your attention. I want to keep you guys in the loop. Like I said, I think you're in a stronger position leveraging a voice to our state legislators. And so I think, staying apprised of what's happening down in Boise that can affect us up here is something I think some rural counties neglect.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see us be active in that process so that we don't get legislation that hurts us in the future. So
Can't afford to ignore it. So,
Okay.
well, thank you for your assistance.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, with that, we will adjourn.